check out this Rev video. Completely off topic. We're moving on from the schlep thing now. But, yeah.
Hey, what's up, Chris here. So when it comes to the subject matter of this video, I have many feelings. On the one hand, I feel vindication. On the other hand, I feel deep frustration for reasons that'll be very obvious in just a second. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you know for years I've been calling out DEI and wokeness and the negative impact that has had on multiple industries and mediums. And all throughout that, I've been pointing out the performative nature of all this and how it is a gigantic agenda push, largely due to the efforts of very powerful individuals and entities out there. Well, that's been called a conspiracy theory or hate.
Oh, he's been saying this too finally, huh?
Full or bigoted, what have you, for many years, being able to point that out. But as with many things these days, it wasn't some conspiracy, it was just truth a couple months early or a couple years early. Because the CEO of BlackRock, one of the probably the biggest proponent and pusher of DEI and wokeness across the world, has come out and just straight up admitted that the woke era we've been living under for the past couple of years was a failed corporate experiment. And now they're trying to pivot to something else while acting like nothing has happened. Let's listen to this clip together.
Do you believe the woke era a failed experiment? The ESG, the DEI, the kind of push for that. When you talk about things now, you talk in a practical sense, what we can do, what we can get done. Looking back at that, how do you see it?
Society moves, the pendulum moves all the time. In BlackRock's cases, we are responsible for managing money for everybody.
But here's the thing about the quote-unquote pendulum, sir. The pendulum should have never swung into that side of anything in the first place. Because that side is just completely based off fucking mentally ill weirdos, okay? Never before have I seen society swing into such depravity and mental illness, ever. Okay, yes, society changes, but not to that extent. Yeah, exactly. It was pushed. It didn't just swing. Exactly.
And even today,
thank you for the
as
follow.
you said, maybe these, renewables are less talked about it. I can tell you right now, we have many investors worldwide are investing in renewables, trying to emphasize solar and other things like that. We're working with Occidental Petroleum right now to building the best carbon capture factories in Texas right now. So do I believe the pendulum 5 years ago was too far? Yes.
You do.
I believe we're more I'm personally more pragmatic too. And I believe...
But do you think BlackRock pushed some companies a little bit further left than you thought?
It was never our intention, because our job is to be... I got to be a fiduciary to everybody who gives us money.
So there you have it, folks. The CEO of BlackRock, the biggest pusher of all this stuff, just straight up admits this was all just a failed corporate experiment. And now the pendulum is shifting another direction, and they're just moving on from all that. Acting like, well, you have nothing to be mad about. This is just the changing of the times. Oopsie whoopsie. We ruined all these lives and ruined all these mediums, but who cares?
Yeah,
we're moving on, and we're just going to keep making more money. That is the reality we live in. And I genuinely believe people like Larry Fink are evil. And I don't throw that term around very often. This guy is evil. You can play the rest of this clip. He just drones on for another minute or so, just going in circles, saying a whole lot of words, but very little substance. At the end of the day, this guy just admits that he's been using pawns, whether it's people and or industries, to push an agenda that now is recognized as a corporate experiment gone wrong. Let's look at some of the comments here, and I will expand on the main points. Here's a quote from Endymion saying this. BlackRock CEO admits the woke era was a mistake, and everyone who played into it was manipulated. Every website, every person. It was never genuine, actual truth bomb, dude. Every push of DEI and all that was carefully constructed to fit narratives. I got called so many names for pushing back, and now the guy who started it is like, yeah, we screwed up. Unreal, dude. So much damage has to be undone from this. So many game companies alone still clinging to this BS knowing it won't work. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the thing is, regardless of what he says, I think it's still very alive and well. DEI, unfortunately, is still very alive and well, has been shoved into everything that we care about. It's going to take so long to even start to undo the damage that it has done.
And that is the key takeaway here. These people are brainwashed. The people who fell for this, whether it's in the gaming industry or elsewhere, they are indoctrinated by this stuff. I think it began with a personal agenda. They want to use these points to enforce their own agenda. They want to use DEI to push their own agenda and to feel in some way emboldened to go after anybody who questions it or has a different point of view than them. We have seen this, but now they're stuck in this stuff. And the CEO can come out and say this was all a failed corporate experiment, and they're not going to be listening because they're too far gone at this point.
Yep.
And yeah, people like myself who have been calling out DEI and all of this stuff and how performative and ridiculous it is, we got called every name under the sun, right? Yep. People literally try to ruin you for calling this stuff out. And now he's just like, oh, oopsie whoopsie, let's move on. So many people have been made a fool out of this. They were literal pawns. Completely manipulated, whether it's websites, people, corporations. It's all a part of this scheme that is just right in your face. And here's a reply to that previous post saying, you now have millions of incompetents employed in major roles across every industry. You can't do the job, yet their existence depends on DEI. They will continue to push it and fight for it no matter what now. Can't put the genie back in the bottle. They get paid to push it. And that is definitely true. There are endless people who only have their position at their current job because of DEI, because they chose.
And then you can't fire them, right? They're already in there. Like say somebody was hired because they're like a black guy, right? You can't just go and fire them and be like, well, you're fired because we hired you because you're black. You know what I mean? You can't do it. They get sued. So now it's a shit show.
Identity as a priority
you're fired 'cause you're black.
Over competence. And we've seen people...
You know what I mean, okay? You're fired because... Oh, God, I said it wrong. You're fired because we hired you because you're black. There! That's better. Shut up, all of you. Shut the fuck up. Shut up! All of you, shut up!
Literally die because of this. This isn't just, oh, geez, people are losing out on jobs who are more qualified.
Thank you for the follow, sorry.
No, people are put in trusted positions where people are literally losing their lives due to incompetent hires who are only there because of their identity.
Yeah, thanks.
This was stuff that was pushed on everyone for years across the globe. I mean, I talked about this with the California wildfires where some of the fire departments came out and talked about their DEI programs where they spend millions trying to hire people who look like the victims of fires. And of course, you had people who would just straight up admitted they couldn't even carry someone.
Yeah, Kitsu, I actually saw that article. Is that not fucking insane? This black doctor was hired to do brain surgery on people and cause like permanent brain damage to a crazy amount of people, and then it took them that long to fire this guy, by the way. This is what I'm saying. Like, people are being actually injured because of DEI, losing their lives and stuff like that. Yeah. I can't remember if it was a woman or not.
Out of a burning fire.
If so, double whammy, right?
Who were hired only because of their identity. This stuff is deadly. And back then, I remember getting attacked for saying, hey, every million you spent towards that, if it was transferred somewhere else and it saved even one life, that would have been worth it. People thought that was very bigoted. That's how crazy and far gone all this stuff is. But here's another quote saying, let me get this straight. The folks on the far left who kept yapping about taxing the rich, eating lab-grown, grass-flavored like meat, rainbow flags in our nurseries and primary schools, pro-migration, forcing geopolitics and modern-day sexual orientations into our video games, and plastering DEI in every workspace imaginable.
I will admit DEI was a bit shit show at time. Fuck. Hold on, my chat went too far. It wasn't entirely without merit. There are people that have the ability that should go. Oh yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that people that are qualified to get the job should get the job. It doesn't matter what skin color they are or whatever else. If they are skilled enough to do the job and do the job well, then they should get the job. I agree.
We're being manipulated and controlled by the rich. Yeah, anybody who's not been experiencing life with blinders on knows the truth of this statement. This is the upside.
Exactly. Then it's not really DEI, right? Yeah. Sorry, I'm eating French fries. But you should always hire the person that's best fit for the job, no matter what. In my opinion, no! In my opinion, if you hire someone based on their skin color and not their merit or skill, then is that not inherently racist? You're basically saying that this person that is a different color or a black, brown, whatever you want to call them, need to be hired based on skin color because they can't do the job? Or what? You know what I mean?
Upside down world we've been experiencing the last couple of years. And the effects, like I said, it's not just the gaming industry, it's everything. It's the education system, it's corporate, America corporate, global, everything. Everything that could possibly be touched by this has been touched in one form or another, and it's all been for the negative. Here's another quote, translated from Spanish. This post really went worldwide, guys, by the way. All of
the guy has a League of Legends icon. That's Kane from League of Legends. It's my husband. That's my League of Legends husband. Just saying.
Those who thought they were anti-establishment revolutionaries for being woke and spending the day hassling people turned out to be getting used as puppets.
I always say, yeah, he can ult me anytime. That's what, you know. He can ult me anytime.
By
just saying.
BlackRock. Yes. Literally millions of people fit under this description. They think they are anti-establishment revolutionaries by pushing all this nonsense for years. Turns out they're just puppets of a massive, massive, massive corporation. Here's another quote saying, people learning that their entire political ideology was a scheme thought up and created by billionaires they hate. Can't make this stuff up.
That's exactly what it was.
Here's the thing. This stuff is so indoctrinated that at this point, I believe it goes beyond just an ideology or an agenda for these people. The people who have been used as pawns for this and have supported this stuff, it's basically a religion to them at this point. It has consumed every aspect of their life. They depend on this to be real. They depend on this stuff to be pushed. Otherwise, they have nothing. They get hired because of their identity. Or they use this sort of woke era we've been living under to justify harassing people who have done nothing wrong, to force their morals and their beliefs onto other people and be able to label them as other in order to justify anything bad that happens to them for questioning DEI or wokeness. Let's move on to another translated post saying, I love the silence of feminists after finding out that all their policies and struggles over diversity, gender, and rights were funded by BlackRock's billionaire patriarchy. They thought that bearing their tops because they want
their tops. Yeah. I've been I can't remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something before I got distracted by the tops thing. I was gonna say, I think feminism is such a strange thing now. It's been like twisted and basically used as some kind of like shield by man-hating women to appear like they give a shit about other women when you know for a fact that they don't. They don't. They fucking hate everybody. They hate themselves. They're miserable. Okay? I think that there are actually women out there that do give a shit about other women and care about women's rights and stuff like that. And it's not the modern day feminist, I'll tell you that.
Wanted to and leaving their bodies untrimmed because they were fighters, and it turns out their boss was Larry Fink. I'm crying from laughter. The amount of useful idiots out there is staggering, ladies and gentlemen. But here's one more. It really pisses me off that I lost all of my closest friends due to the far left social justice moral bundle of sticking
That's so
and evil elites.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Sorry. Bundle of sticking. You hear that, 4chan? You need to be politically correct. Okay, you guys need to start saying moral bundle of sticking.
Like this guy who are responsible. Their entire political ideology was a scheme devised and funded by the very billionaires they hate. The amount of people, like, I'll ask you, the viewer, have you lost friendship?
Oh my God, his icon, look, he's Zorak. He has a Zorak icon. That's awesome. I love that.
Or connections
Zorak!
Over the last couple of years because of stuff like this. Because you're not cool with DEI, or you think it's performative or wokeness. If you call that out or think it's performative, Ghost. Have you lost?
I had the privilege of watching Space Ghost because my dad liked it. So I got to watch it when I was a kid, and I loved Zorak. Zorak and Brack, I loved.
Friendships. I mean, you know, the subject of grifting even comes up when it comes to content creators.
Yeah,
do you
Space
think being anti-woke is some masterful grift? I'll tell you, it's not. I get called a grifter every single day. This is the worst grift ever. If you want to be anti-woke, it's a terrible one because you lose opportunities, including financially, which, you know, thank goodness I have you guys and your support, whether it's just watching videos or super.
God damn it! Why do I keep doing it? I keep doing it because I'm eating fries and I don't want to chew in your ear. Fuck! I was gonna say, finally some peace and quiet. Fuck you! I was gonna say, I got to watch a lot of stuff like that when I was a kid. I got to watch Space Ghost Coast to Coast, The Brat Show, Spawn, the cartoon Spawn. Chew in our ear? No! No!
Super chatting or showing up to streams and doing things like that. You've been able to help me out.
I was drinking a soda too, so I burp really loud. So, you know, next time I'll burp in your guys' ear, though, if you want.
And make it so I don't have to rely on all of this sort of nonsense. But it has direct effects. What Larry Fink, BlackRock, and all these agenda pushers do, they have an impact on people personally, and they also have a pervasive cultural effect, where there is right think and wrong think, and the sort of compass that's been directing millions of people has been pushing wokeness.
That's different, though, because we're in the Discord call, okay? It's not the same. I don't know if everybody here wants to hear me burp into their ear hole. Hello, demon.
And those who question it have been chastised. I mean, I remember even a couple years ago, people lost their jobs or got banned on social media or lost sponsorships for saying there's things like two genders, like there's only two genders. That was a thing that would literally have your life turned upside down only a few years.
Rev, it still does. See, now I'm chewing. You guys can hear. It still does, Rev. It still does.
Years ago, and people like Larry Fink want you to just forget that happened, even though they were the ones pushing this stuff harder than anyone else. Like I said when I started this video, what are my feelings? Well, it's all over the place. There's vindication.
Shut up, Sai.
My thoughts about all this has been vindicated. I know so many content creators who do what I do, who look at this and say, yup, we've been calling this out rightfully for years.
Yeah.
And now you have the puppeteers coming out and saying, yep, this was a failed corporate.
Yeah, they're just coming out. They're like, JK, my bad. Just kidding, guys. We're totally kidding this whole time. We're totally kidding.
Experiment. That's vindicating. On the other hand, it's deeply frustrating.
I have become dickless. Why have you become dickless? What happened to your boopus?
Because the people who are doing this, they will not feel any sort of remorse. They don't feel bad about anything that's happening. They don't feel bad about the negative impacts on people's lives. Even the violence that has been created because of these systems, they don't care. And the people who have been useful idiots throughout all of this, they're not going to look in the mirror. They're going to ignore this.
Hi,
in fact,
Deb.
they'll probably call this propaganda, like alt-right propaganda or something, to justify how stupid they are and how much they've been used over the years by billionaires like this. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I know there was a lot going on there, so please share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Hey, what's up?
I can't fucking believe these people are like, yeah, it was just an experiment, guys. We were totally kidding the whole time. I know we made your life a living hell for the past, like, fucking 10 years or some shit. We were just kidding. It was just a joke. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Like, oh my God. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, 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 fuck you. Yeah, they're not kidding.